Does your wife get spicy? Does she have this attitude? She give you a little jab, a little punch. Maybe she just goes right for your fucking throat. You do something wrong and she just lays into you. And so most guys, when this happens, it's because of a few things. And so he crumbles. He absolutely crumbles in this, and this ruins the whole game for her. In fact, the whole reason that she's getting upset like this to begin with is because you've been failing consistently time and time again, and she's getting fed up. Absolutely fucking fed up with your lack of direction and your lack of balls. And so in this video, I'm gonna show you actually how to turn this around really freaking fast. My name is Ed Baxter, and I help guys in betrayal situations. The process of being with a woman for 50 years or a woman that you're dating is pretty much the same. For us, it's just science. Because we know the patterns, we know the solutions. It's not that complicated. You have to make a commitment for yourself. That's what it means to be in Soul Seducer program. That's what it means to work with me directly. So you can learn to handle your emotions. So you can learn to see right into a woman's soul and seduce her from within, to create this garden that she can actually thrive in. We'll get you to that place where you make the right decision for you and your chick. No secret that women test men. They have to. And women will tell you this all the time. She's like, he looks cool, he talks well, he presents himself well, but what's he made out of really? This is really what turns her on, is your strength of character. This is the thing that she's really looking for. This is why you find some ugly ass dudes who can be at absolutely smoke shows, because there's something about him that demonstrates he is a top dog by the way that he operates internally, his internal operating system. She's looking for this. Yeah, you can show off your muscles and your card, your bank account. You can show off your clothes, and you can act confident, and you can do all these things. Maybe you're a musician and you're really popular, so you're high in the social status ladder. But at the end of the day, she's gonna have a conversation with you, and she's gonna be testing what you're actually made of, or if all of this is for show. And if you can pass these tests, she's gonna say, that's my guy. Not only he's my guy, but I'm locked into him for life, because I'm not gonna find anybody better, and this guy is my guy. And so if you're coming into a situation where your wife criticizes you a lot, she manipulates you, guilts you, shames you, emasculates you all the time, she just talks down to you, calls you names, screams at you in front of the kids, this video is for you. And you're gonna have to turn this around, because what she's doing is she's demonstrating that you're weak internally as fuck. Not only are you weak as fuck, she's creating a situation to where she can justify leaving you. The more she yells at you, the more you allow it, the more she belittles you, emasculates you, just puts another data point in her head that she could do better than you, and she made the incorrect choice, and she's not necessarily mad at you, she's mad at herself because she's put up with it for so long, and so she keeps laying into you over and over and over again, hoping you'll either measure up, sack up, or get the fuck out. So, how do you handle this like a boss and demonstrate to her that you are the fucking boss? First is, don't look at the criticism as an attack. Look at it as a test. It's always a test. With women, it's always a test. It's either a test of how you're operating, or it's a test of your ability to lead your own situation in your life. No, not necessarily everything she's doing is a conscious test, but I'm here to tell you that your woman actually does test you consciously and unconsciously. And so just instead of taking it personal, watch what she's doing and look at it as a test. And the first way we do this is, don't just react. Your blood's gonna boil. Shoot, dude, she knows all your pressure points. She knows all your weak spots, and she's gonna go straight for them. Why? Because she's highlighting the things that need to be buttoned up within you. She's showing you exactly what it is. And instead of stepping back and being like present and seeing what that is, you get caught up in the drama. You start reacting to everything. You start freaking the fuck out. You become this baby crying and sniveling and apologizing, over-apologizing, explaining yourself, getting defensive. You become this bastard, you tell her to go fuck herself and get out of here, and I could do better, and you're a bitch, and all this stuff. And you vacillate between baby and bastard, which means that you have no emotional self-control at all. And if you can't control yourself in this situation, she can see that you can't control yourself in a lot of other situations too, and she starts to demonstrate and prove to herself that you're actually pretty weak. I can guarantee you, the more weak she sees you, the drier she's gonna become, and you're gonna get consolation sex. It used to be something that was fun and exciting and she was looking forward to, and she'd get off all the time. Now it's this consolation sex that she does it just to get you off her back, and eventually it's just gone completely. Now she's in this place where she'll say, well, I'm just not interested in sex, which isn't true. She's just not interested in it with you because you've been demonstrating weakness for so long. So how do we handle this? Simply observe. Instead of reacting, you respond in a calm, cool manner. Don't just react. Take a step back, see what's happening here. See the situation bigger than just your own emotionality. And then take a moment and respond appropriately. If she's yelling at you, going, hey, you got a little dick and all this stuff, obviously she's angry about something. And so your response would be like, I see you're upset. What's going on? What are you really upset about? It's not my dick. What is it? And she'll tell you. Oh, you wouldn't understand anyway. Well, I'm right here. I'm seeking to understand. Why don't you tell me? And so what we're doing here is we're doing this with a calm certainty and power. We're not doing it in an apologetic way. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. You must be upset. How can I help you? No, that's weak as hell. There's no certainty or power behind that. That's just being weak. That's being apologetic in how you're approaching yourself. You're apologizing for breathing air that she's sharing with you. And so you have to come in with calm certainty. And you do it by learning how to become highly emotionally resilient. And you have to look at what she's doing as not you. So we have to separate the insult from your identity. And so we have to look at this, it's not about you. So we have to separate this feedback, we want to call it feedback, from your identity. The problem is you're identified with what she's saying, and so now you get easily offended because you have made that part of who you are. And so when your woman is getting onto you, look at it as feedback instead of your identity. She's just a person having a human experience. And what she's doing is really just the subject of how she's choosing to show up right here and now. It's not you. It's never you. When somebody else is upset, it's never you. Yeah, you could have been a bonehead, you could have done some shit, but they've still chosen to respond in that way and get upset, which is all on them. They have 100% responsibility for how they're acting. They may not see it because they don't have control over it, but it's still their responsibility. And so she's testing your ability to stand up for yourself. She's testing your ability to be calm and clear and present and try to seek the truth under the situation of emotionality. She's testing your ability to contain the situation and not get wrapped up in the chaos, to be the calm in the storm, be the boat that doesn't get capsized in her storm. This is the real test. And when you fall into all these things, you fail it every time. And she demonstrates to you that her emotionality is stronger than your emotional resilience. And so then she never feels safe to fully open up to you. She never feels safe to really express how she's feeling. She never feels safe to really just let herself loose. And over time, she gets very irritated and angry and frustrated by this. This is where all the name calling starts to come up. And for a lot of guys, they're like, I'm just tired of dealing with the bullshit. Because he's been dealing with it ineffectively for a number of years. And so he just gets worn down. And then maybe that happened to you. You're with this woman and it was really good for a couple of years while the honeymoon phase was going. Then over time, you lost yourself because you're like, it was easier just to keep the peace. I don't want to get into it. I'm just going to go do my own thing. And you just step out of the situation, abdicate leadership altogether. And now she's like, where is he? I need him to be here and contain this. Where the fuck is he? I'm here to contain this. Where is he? And it just gets worse and it spins out of control. Have allowing this to happen in your life made her worse or better? It's made it worse. Has apologizing for it made it worse or better? Has giving into her demands and giving her more gifts and all this stuff made it worse or better? I've had hundreds of webinars where I've asked this question. Every guy says worse, 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 because that's the nature of it. Because you're not containing the situation because you're getting caught up in all of her criticism. You're not seeing it as a test. You're not able to distance yourself from what's happening and just seeing this woman having this human experience and she's suffering in front of you. It's not your job to save her or fix her. But it's also not your job to lose your mind in the situation either. And so you have two options when you come into the situation. You can reject her outright. Look, if you're going to call me names and everything like this, I'm setting a boundary. I'm not going to interact with you. When you calm down, I'll come back later. Totally valid. You have to set a frame of fuck around, find out. If she pushes too hard, you have to be willing to walk away, even to the point where you have to leave the relationship. Because you cannot allow emotional abuse. You can't allow any kind of manipulation. You cannot allow these type of things to happen in your world. All it does is emasculate you. It shows that other people can control you, and it erodes your own self-respect. And so you have to set that first boundary of, we're not going to do this. We're not going to have this. And so what you do is you just reject what she's doing and you eject. The second one is you reframe it. You reframe the entire argument. This takes a little bit more deftly maneuvering. And so a little bit of verbal jujitsu. And it requires you to be even stronger in your frame. The first one, you get pissed off, like, fuck this, I'm not dealing with this, I'm out of here, see ya. And that's a good tactic, especially when you're first dating somebody. Because it shows them that, hey, you don't get to be with me if you're going to act like this. If you want to be with me, you're going to have to change. You're going to have to become a better person if you want to be with me. Without that, she's not going to take you seriously and she's not going to respect you. There's a better tactic, but it's going to require a lot more from you to do it. And this is what I call the gift. And guys give the gift away all the time because they can't really hold the space for it and they can't do it very powerfully. The gift is the reframe. Like, for an instance, here was a situation that was coming up with my wife a couple years ago. She's in the kitchen, she's getting overwhelmed. and she's making lunches. She's trying to get the kids ready for school. We got a little baby as well. He's crying. He's put his hands up, wanting mommy to pick him up, but she can't pick him up because she's making lunches. She's doing everything else. And I'm in the middle of my morning stuff, and I'm working and all this stuff. And she's getting ready. And then my older son, Logan, gets really upset. He has this meltdown. He's angry. And then that triggers my wife, and she's just overwhelmed. Just like, ah! And I look at her and I say, look at this beautiful family. Isn't it wonderful that we have everybody here together? Isn't it wonderful that we have these kids who love you? Isn't it great that we have all of this right now? I said, I can see you're beating yourself up. Why not be kind to yourself? Why not show yourself love? You're doing a great job. It's hard. It's not easy. Why not just show and demonstrate to yourself and give yourself this love that you need right now? And she started to tear up and cry. And she was like, thank you. And just recontextualize the entire situation. But if I'm getting all caught up in the emotionality, if I'm getting riled up because my son's over here screaming at Lucas, and little Bruce over here crying, and everything's going on, and I come down, they're like, what the fuck's going on? And I get angry and upset. I'm like, okay, what do we got to do here? And I come in there and start taking charge and running all over everything. I mean, that could work, but I came in there calm. I came in there as a force, powerful presence. When I come home, my wife goes, I can finally breathe. It's not because she's doing less. It's because I hold the energy of containment for the family, for the kids, for her, for little baby Bruce. And in this place, she can relax. She's like, okay, he's here. I can just, whatever's going to happen, I know he's got it. I know he's got this. And for a lot of you guys, you'll hear this, like, how is this even possible? My wife would never let that happen. I could never get in there with her. It's like, yeah, because she doesn't trust you. She doesn't respect you. You don't have a foundation of power and strength. Manipulation happens in your relationship. You've allowed your wife to treat you badly, or you haven't picked a woman who doesn't think that manipulation is horrible, that they use it as a leverage point, and they use it to control you, and they use it to control the kids, and you let this dysfunction happen in your life and in your family. I don't allow that stuff in my family at all. It's zero tolerance policy. That does not happen in my family. I don't care if it's the kids that are doing it. I don't care if it's my wife. Nobody plays this game of manipulation, shaming, guilting, or emasculating. No, we talk to each other with respect, and we're calm in our attitude. We don't give a shaming attitude, shaming tone of voice. We do not play that game. It does not happen. I do not allow that shit at all. Because what happens is what you tolerate, you encourage, and it's a slippery slope. You allow it here, it's like a chink in the armor. It gets whittled away, whittled away, whittled away. Before you know it, the entire family is all over the place. And then she's angry at you, she's an angry person, and everything falls apart. But once you have lockdown on this game of power, I'm not dominating my wife. I'm showing her love. I'm showing her like the better place to go. And she agrees because it is the better place to go. She's my partner. She's in equal status of me. I respect where she's at. I respect the fuck out of her. She's an amazing mother and she's an amazing wife. She's everything I've ever wanted. And so building this up, building this in your relationship requires you to be the emotionally resilient one. And so you're going to find out that conflict is where the kings are made. Your collisions in your family and how you address them and how you pivot them and how you reframe them and how you recontextualize things, how you can bring play back into a relationship whenever she's spinning out, when you can turn the emotional situation around faster than she can think and bring her back into a place of peace so that she can come to a solution. Remember, you're here to help her in this way. You don't have to do it. It's not required. That's why I call it the gift. And the gift needs to be appreciated. If I'm going to provide this type of a service and type of a thing for my family, my wife, she has to appreciate it. It is not something she gets entitled to. And so for you, for most of you guys, your women in your life are entitled to everything that you do and everything else. And so you don't stand in your power. You're this guy who's a slave to the emotionality of the people around you. And so you have to be able to have these conflicts. And in the conflict is when the kings are born. See, you don't get to walk through the heaven of a relationship unless you're willing to walk through fucking hell and walk away. You don't get that. You don't get that privilege. You don't get to pass go. You don't get to collect the $200. You don't get all the cash in the middle of free parking either. You don't get it because you're not willing to have the collision. You're not willing to learn the skills and definitely maneuver the situation to get her pivoted back into her heart so she says to herself, this guy is amazing. This is everything I've ever wanted. This guy is strong as hell. I look up to this guy. I respect this guy. And I'm totally turned on by him. You don't get to have that kind of relationship unless you're willing to be this kind of guy. But if you want to be this kind of guy, this is how we teach you and how to do it in Soul Seducer. That's why I call it Soul Seducer. Reach right into her soul, seduce the woman within. Not this beautiful figure in front of you, but the actual soul. That person that's in there that's dying to feel seen, heard, understood, and loved from a deep level. You want to learn how to do that shit. You want to learn how to be a fucking savage in this game of love. Check out the link in the description below this video. Might be in one of the comments below. Always get a guy saying, where's the link? I'm like, it's in the description, come on. Anyways, brother, go ahead and click that link now, and I'd love to see you inside.